Welcome to a new Waterwave TV interview. Crooked Beverage Co. Shout out them. But we got DJ Low in the building. I'm all about the rhymes and the raps today. Put the Waterwave hoodie on.
Big blessings. Appreciate y'all for having me coming over here. Ricky, Waterwave, Calvino, the whole squad. You know what it is. Mm-hmm. Hit them with the waves.
We've been doing, I feel like we haven't been doing business for a super long time, but we've been doing a lot of good business for the time we have been doing business together. But you're a name that's been prominent, I think, in the city for a while. Like, the stuff that you tell me before I was even out here, like, I don't know, you're doing these types of shows at First Ave and all these types of stories. Like, there's a lot more to DJ Low than I knew, you know?
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all. It's been a beautiful time working as a partnership with you guys. I got a lot of love and respect for Waterwave. Make sure if y'all are in Dinkytown to stop out over to their shop, grab some shoes and vintage clothes or some Gopher, Minnesota memorabilia. But DJ Low, Gold Culture Entertainment's been here for a minute. I'm grateful to be a part of this Minnesota community. I was just talking about it yesterday. There's no place in the world that has the amount of musical excellence that Minnesota has. You can go from so many different genres. We got the hip-hop backpackers like Student One. You got the rappers, Qmo, J Plaza, man, the list goes on. Taylor Brienne, you guys just had up on your guys' show. You could also go into the punk rock world and check out the Gully Boys. There's just so much music over here. And the way the music is performed in Minnesota is just a lot better. Like, I lived in California for 2 years, and it's beautiful seeing how, like, when I was out there, I was like, man, some of our people from Minnesota would thrive out over here in some of these stages. And, yeah, man, I started off DJing at a radio college over at Augsburg College. That's how I started. Did interviews with many different prominent artists from back in the day. Audio Perm, shout out to Bobby Raps. We had Minnesota, shout out to Minnesota. Minnesota was my most interviewed artist. I had him on 3 times, and we all said every time, fuck Amy Klobuchar. We always clowned her. And, you know, from those interviews, I was able to go ahead and just get to know the music scene. Had Sean Anonymous on there with Dimitri Killstorm as well. Had an interview with Macklemore. He was there. Prof was there and interrupted the interview by mooning us, and then joined the interview. And it's just crazy, the stories that I've been a part of and have seen, helping out at First Avenue, doing sold out shows over at First Avenue. Man, shout out to the First Avenue. I mean, that venue is just legendary. There's no place like it. So, yeah, it's been a beautiful ride, and
it's been a journey before this, like, even before this high-end social media era of, like, quick shit, quick shows, quick content, quick whatever. I feel like there's a lot to be said, because like when was that Augsburg time? Like, what year?
So Augsburg was 2010, 2012.
Yeah, and I didn't get introduced until like the Minnesota music scene heavy until like 2018.
Yeah.
So there's a whole, you know,
gap.
For that gap that you had before I started is how long I've been here.
Bro,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, there's a lot of like Minnesota knowledge and history during that time that I don't know about that I hope to learn doing interviews, you know, like this.
Oh yeah, man,
and whatnot. But yeah, speak on. I know there's a lot of stuff going on now, like your DJ Low show, music industry nights, just consistently being booked, doing wedding DJs. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, you had to take to get to this point, to where you can throw your own events like a DJ Low show or your own music industry nights, and people actually come and have stories on like, oh, I met Low here, I met Low there. So how did you? I think First Ave is a really big, like, space to get connected with, and when we've done shows there, they all, oh, Joel, like they all know you. How did your relationship start with First Ave? Like, how did that bridge begin?
Oh, great question. I love First Avenue. I always say First Avenue is like a second home to me. It started back in 2014. I started a dance party night called My Parents' Basement, BASS. Many people in Minnesota know the best house parties are in somebody else's parents' basement. So that's what we went off of. I've always loved house parties. Some of the best parties I've ever gone to were at some house parties. And we wanted to bring that house party vibe to the clubs. Mm-hmm. And so we started off at Honey. Rest in peace to Honey, the best place that there ever was. John, the soundman and the owner, they gave me an opportunity to throw my first ever party there. And I did 3 events on Wednesdays that were just... had such great turnouts on Wednesdays that somebody from First Avenue, I forgot dude's name, he was like, bro, I had a blast. Would love to have you at First Avenue. And now 2014 was legendary, lit of all lits in the music scene in Minnesota, because you're telling me on any given month, and it was more in the summer, but I had a Friday night lock-in over at First Avenue in the 7th entry. Oh, no, not at the 7th entry. In the record room, which is no longer there, but the door is still there. It's all offices now. But in the record room, I had a party. Then the week before, it was Dexatron 2000, which was Bobby Raps and Tips, DJ Tips party. And then the week before that was... I'm just losing it. It was these other DJs. It was just dance parties every fucking weekend at First Avenue. And it was a beautiful time where we were just all throwing these parties and helping each other out. The music scene was going crazy. That was when Red Bull Music was starting off and doing events. We saw Travis Scott over at the Fine Line for $5.
Who did I have on that talked about that night? That was I'm gonna remember it later. It was a recent interview I did.
What's his name? The skateboarding homies. God damn it, I'm blanking on it right now.
I can't remember.
The homies. They have T-shirts. They skateboard.
The Hesh?
The Hesh, yes. Okay. The homies from the Hesh just posted a video of it that day when Travis Scott was jumping off the rafters. Motherfuckers were hanging off the speakers. Like, bro, Post Malone did a event there as well for $3. And that was the first time I saw Titties out at a concert. Like, he played White Iverson 3 times. Like, 2014 was a beautiful time in Minnesota. Everybody was thriving. Events were happening all the time. A lot of growth happened from there. Yeah, man. And ever since then, I've been throwing events with First Avenue. I love that space. Yeah. They help out so often.
They're very collaborative with the local scene with their 7th Street entry spot too. And for those of you that don't know, Fine Line is owned by First Ave, so that's why Fine Line is still relevant in this story. Yep. But I think it was Dylan Cameron for the Trenches. I think that was at that Travis Scott show. I could be wrong, but I think that was who I interviewed that talked about that.
Probably, yeah, because after that point, I think it was they ended up buying that one in 2018 or so. But, First Avenue, like, their staff has been amazing. Their security, the sound people. Key for anybody up and coming, if you ever do a show at any venue, the sound people and the security people are going to be your best people to get to know. Because when shit goes down, you might need a little bit extra microphone volume. They'll help you out if you're good with them. And then security, they'll tell you the right way to go in the case of an emergency, you know? So, man, I'm just always grateful for the people over there. Bless you.
Thank you. Oh, big blessings. What are the big blessings? There, you said bless you. One of the things I want to ask is, your big tagline is big blessings, big blessings. When did that come?
Blessings came, I don't know. I guess, like, I've always just said it. It's just something that I've always felt. It's a blessing to be alive. It's a blessing to be here. so much is going on in the world at any given time, and I feel like I should have died years ago, like in situations that I've been in. And I'm grateful to be here, and every moment that I am a part of, like, is a big blessing. And so that's why I share my blessings, because, you know, I mean, shit, if I can't share my blessings, you know, man, I'm just hoarding all the blessings, and I don't want that. It's all for the community.
Yeah. And I think one thing that drew me to you originally, and I don't know if it started with like Vino going to the DJ Low show, or Cumo, or whoever went first or whatever. Like, I don't know if that's how our relationship
I think it was Calvino.
Or if it was social media or meeting you in person at a show. I don't know what it was, but like, one thing about you is you've always been like the super happy, nice guy. Is everything good? You need anything? Like, is everything okay? Like, big blessings, like blessings, but like that's like been your thing. Has that always been like in your blood from the beginning? Like, were you just raised to just be like kind before anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I shout out to my parents. I'm grateful for my parents, my family. My sister Anna, like, is really my influence and the reason why. My sister Anna, shout out to you, Anna. Love you, Anna. My sister has Down syndrome, and so being that, like, I've always been the big brother to her, but also understanding, like, I've learned so much patience of being with, you know, having a sister with special needs, and being there for her and helping her out in any scenario. So I feel like growing up in the music industry specifically, you know, I didn't have too many people. I had homies that looked out for me, but it wasn't like, we're all just learning as we're going. You know, shout out to DJ Snuggles, shout out to Minnesota Tech, like so many, Chance York. I have so many OGs that have helped me out, but like at the same time, like, we were all just learning as we're going about it. And so what I like to do now with seeing and working, and as a partnership with Waterwave TV, working with, you know, seeing different artists, you know, Obi Original, Ozone Creations, whoever it may be, like, I want to be offering my blessings, my help, my influence, my knowledge, my experience that I've had, you know, to be able to help out, you know. An example, you guys had an amazing show just recently at the First Avenue.
All-female
Yep,
lineup?
the all-female lineup. Carson Blue was performing, and she was going crazy, snapping. But I noticed that the lights were red.
Yep, I remember.
And so I didn't know who the sound guy was at First Avenue. It was a new guy. And so I went up to it, and I just like knocked, and I was like, hey, did she ask for red lights? And he was like, no. And I was like, her name is Carson Blue. Could you change them to blue for her? And then he did that, you know. And then afterwards, he was like, hey, are you a manager of her? Because I was also telling him to turn the microphone up for NZ Rose, too. And it's just like, no, like, I'm just friends of them. I know these people. But I also, like, you know, you're my peoples. And if I can go ahead and help or better the experience with my knowledge, like, obviously, I'm not going over there and, like, put on pink for Carson Blue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that Carson Blue, if was asked, like, red or blue, like, it would have been like, yo, have blue.
Blue lights on stage.
So, those are just, like, little things. Like, I don't ask for anything for it. I don't need recognition for it. But it just makes me feel good knowing that, like, I can help out other people in scenarios just because of my expertise and just me comfortable being me.
Yeah. And you're bilingual.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I feel like that.
Ya sabes.
that adds an extra level of being able to help people, and maybe even getting booked for certain shows that some people wouldn't get booked for because they can't communicate because of what you speak Spanish, correct?
Yep.
I guess, yeah, for people that don't know, what's your whole ethnicity or heritage?
I'm 50% Mexican, and then I'm Norwegian, German, Swedish.
That's where you get the long hair.
So
big ear from.
yeah. So I get the Norwegian, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I'm fluent. I grew up I was grateful that I grew up in the family home that spoke Spanish a lot and went to classes and learned. So, you know, I'm grateful for those experiences.
Has it helped you get booked for like events?
Completely. Well, I think people forget, but I also kind of don't push it out as much. But maybe, you know, I need to push it out more that, yeah, I'm bilingual. But if you have the opportunity to learn Spanish, even if it's Duolingo, like the amount of work and money that you will get because you're bilingual, it's a clear difference. It's night and day, you know. And just to be in rooms, like, it's so crazy to be in some of the rooms that I'm like helping out with Maria Isa. And, you know, then I got introduced to an amazing organization and community group called Copal over on Lake Street. They're the ones that helped do licenses for all in Minnesota this past year. So it's like, it's crazy where being bilingual and speaking Spanish will get you in what rooms and all that.
Yeah, that's one thing I've wanted to learn more as another language. I think Duolingo is a big key.
Yeah.
I tried to learn German like a while ago on Duolingo.
Yeah.
And I didn't get too far, but I was on a path. I had the ball was rolling, but I just didn't stick to it.
I always tell people, just like, even though it might feel corny, just do a little bit of YouTube for like babies.
Yeah.
And just get like the basics done, get the basics done, and then you can start going on, maybe if you like that one, but you know, poco a poco.
So there's a lot of alleys that DJs can make money in, right? Whether it's weddings or clubs, concerts, birthday parties, probably like grand store openings, like whatever, sporting events, like. How have you diversed yourself throughout the years being a DJ, and like where do you see yourself kind of going in the future?
Great question. There's so many different avenues. People don't understand, and people sometimes seem to forget. My first eye-opening moment on, shit, like a DJ can get paid for this. I DJ'd the grand opening at the Mall of America for Old Navy back in 2000. God, what was that? 2012. And like, I had a horrible setup. I still have the photo. I was working with an entertainment company, and the speakers I had were the ones that he had, and they're just these big wooden panels. And I'm just in there, and it was just, I rocked it. It was a great time. Old Navy employees loved it. But that's the thing, is that like there's so many different avenues. DJ Ones and other DJs are doing ones at the Mall of America still to this day for grand openings or for just store shops. Weddings is huge. If you need a booking, let's go ahead and chat. There's now political, so I've gotten now into the political ever since helping out with Maria Isa. Shout out to our House Representative Maria Isa. She's the best. She helped me get into those fields where I ended up opening up for Bernie Sanders, and then we brought out Maria Isa. You know, like I didn't see myself, like, I would have loved to meet Senator Bernie Sanders, but it was like, you know, we're in different fields. And then all of a sudden, because of music, I was able to meet him. Yeah. There's just so many different avenues that one can go ahead and get. Now I'm going to be helping out with Benilde St. Margaret with some of their basketball games coming up. I feel like a lot of times people forget an event. If you're hosting an event, having a DJ is going to take it up to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you can be a DJ and a host. Like I know that's one thing. I think it was Polo Scott that I interviewed, and he said like the biggest thing for a DJ is learning how to also be the host and the promoter. Because one, that you don't have to pay extra people to do these things, that you can be all in one. And I think Polo Scott is a really good example of it, because like the Free Fridays at Monarch. Like, it's been going on for a long time, but I feel like Polo Scott's always been at the forefront of it. Or when he's doing Tantrum Wednesday or Industry Wednesdays at Tantrum, he's the promoter, he's the host, he's the DJ, along with, you know, A1 or Newski or whoever they bring in for the one-off for that night or whatever. But he does the full package. He does the booking of the other promoters. He does the booking of the artists that they bring in. Like, you can be all in one, but obviously you can't do it for 50 venues. You can do it for that 1 or 2 venues that you are locked in with, because you know there's only so much energy and time that you got to do until you have to delegate other things if possible. But would you also agree that learning how to host an event while DJing is like a huge plus?
It's a major one. First off, shout out to Polo Scott, the man. He's been doing it for many years. Yeah, I mean, being a DJ, being able to rock the crowd for any crowd is an amazing feat of its own. Then you add on to being able to talk on the microphone and amp people up in a different way. That just amplifies it. Now, as you're talking about this, I'm also thinking, you know, back when I was doing a lot of the First Avenue sold out shows over there, I'm also the stage and event coordinator, you know, so like I'm coming up with a list as well. So, I mean, there's so many hats that DJs can wear, have to wear, you know,
Might
delegating.
not get credit for wearing, but
that
someone
part
had to do it.
You know, even helping out with promo. A lot of times people are just like, oh, we just are booking the DJ. But it's like, well, no. Like, for me, I'm like, well, how are other ways that I can help you? Like, thank you for the flyer. People do amazing flyers. My girlfriend Mariah has been doing amazing flyers for me. So if people need flyers. But, like, people forget that, like, a flyer, it doesn't have to be too much on it. Less is simple. Less is simple, but you have to have what, when, where, what, how. And going from that, like, that only goes so far with our algorithms. So, you know, sometimes I'll tell people, like, I'll pull up to the shop. I'll pull up to you. Let's do a little promo video. How can we help? I think for me, I like to go above and beyond what people think they need, because, like, with me, that's why I'm showing where your money is being put in, because I really want to help you out, whoever it is, to make it a wonderful event.
Yeah, and you know, you do more than expected, then you get the client to come back again. That's a big thing. That's the biggest thing in the entertainment world is a client that rebooks, in the studio. If you're, an engineer, you need clients to come back. You can't mix their song once, not care about it. They're not going to come back. So same thing in any field, like do more than what you're expected to do.
Yeah. A saying that I have is, you're always going to see somebody twice. What's that second time going to be like? Yeah. So if you leave off the good, memorable first time, chances are they're going to remember you the second time. Not always. But that's also on you to make the first impression a memorable one, so. Yeah.
One thing I guess that adds into that of you doing more than you need to do is you started your own series, the DJ Low Show. I guess from my understanding and of collabing with you on it, it's to, obviously like show off talent that's around here. And I like the way that you do it, because you can tell you're not doing it like just to like build yourself, because like it's all about the artist. The whole thing is about the artist. It's where is what's the story behind this song? Perform the song. What's the story behind this song? Perform this song. And for the 3 songs they do, and then at the beginning and at the end, it's what's your Instagram? Where can they follow you? Where can they stream your music? This was the DJ Low Show. Have a good night. Boom. It's not, I'm DJ Low. This is my show, and these are the guys that I'm having on today. Although it's mine, we do got to listen. Like it's not like it comes off as like this is for the artist, and I think that genuineness lacks in Minnesota for the people that at least do this stuff. Yeah. Like there's a lot of nice people, a lot of genuine people that would love to shed a light on people, but they don't have the resources for it. They're not like that figure. They're not comfortable doing it. So like that's one good thing I think is what made the DJ Low Show like at least like a thing that how many episodes you done, like 100 something?
105. Sophia Eris January 8th will be 106.
So and you did 100 before a repeating
Yep.
customer or
Juice.
repeating artist, not customer.
Juice Lord was the second artist to be the repeat. Or the first artist to be this repeated, and that was after 104. So he was yeah.
So you're giving a product where you can get 100 artists to come on that want to do it, you know.
Yeah.
So, but what's then the story of the DJ Low Show, and like why did you come up with that idea, and how's it been? I mean, that's probably at least a couple of years, probably at least. Right?
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, I'm just forever grateful for the idea. The actual thing is like the DJ Low Show started back when I was working in Augsburg College and doing that. That's what I called my radio show when I'd have people come in. It was going to be the DJ J Lo Show. Because growing up,
your name was at first was J Lo,
yeah,
DJ Lo. I was a little confused.
Yeah, but my homie, shout out to Will, he said, no, it's too many J's. This would be DJ Low. But so I do these interviews. You know, I had Macklemore, I had Prof Mooney Macklemore, and myself, but I didn't have it on video. Mm-hmm. And that was something I always was like felt ashamed or kind of like had regret, and then never did anything of it. And it wasn't until 2000 when I was over here in November, and I was just like, I was going through it, and I just was like, man, I should just start highlighting all my friends over here in the music scene, and just because what was happening in January 2020, like, you know, nothing was happening going in 2021 at that point. But, you know, nobody was doing concerts, nobody was out, everybody, you know, COVID was here. So I was just like, well, I'll just have my friends come over, and if they're comfortable, like, we'll just do this DJ Low Show up in my apartment. Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing was people are like, yo, you have a big ass apartment. I'm like, yo, if you've been in my apartment, like, it's just really small. But camera magic, and the point that you put, like, resources. Sometimes people don't have resources. That was my whole thing. I was like, I need to have a camera. I need to have a camera. And at that point, I didn't have the camera that we have now. But I was like, well, I have this phone. It's kind of a nice phone. And I was just putting it on my board game and just going on live. And then finding out that, like, live on Instagram was getting fuzzy. So then maybe I have to do pre-recording. And then I bought a stand. And then I started going from there. So, like, Juice Lord was episode 7. And that was the first one that I bought a light stand. So if you see like the first 5 with Chinway and Obi original and this and that, like the format was a little bit off, and then it was fuzzy, and then all of a sudden you get Juice Lord, and it's nice and clean and bright, and it's beautiful. And just going through the progress, you know, just bringing different people along to help me out with it, with editing. The whole focus has been to go ahead and put a spotlight on all the artists that I know. I'm grateful to know artists from all over the world. Man, and I'm continuing. I love to see new music and art and what it is, and I'm just always curious as what it is, how they started, the story and concept, and the whole point is to promote them. Mm-hmm. And thank you for noticing that, because, I mean, for me, it's like I just want to be the person that can use my platform and my audience that I have to put on to these people that people probably have never heard of. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to me that people have never heard of Y Khalik. It's crazy to me that they don't know some of these artists that I know, and I'm just always forever grateful. Also, shout out to the people that are still watching this at this point, because like the DJ Low Show, I do it so short in a format because people's attention spans aren't long. So I'm like, I need to do 3 quick songs, tell me a story and concept, we're done in 15 minutes. Mm-hmm.
And that point of you saying you put the camera on the board game, reminiscent. The first time I ever, or your phone on the board game, the first time I ever did an interview. Shout out Nate Infinity. He was just in the store yesterday.
Nate, what up, Nate?
The first person I ever interviewed.
He was episode like 40 something.
Oh, so he was on the DJ.
Yep. So,
it was in the basement of our dorm. I ordered like a Waterway banner, duct taped it to the wall. In the so in the basement of River Falls, Wisconsin, in the dorms they had study rooms. Went in the study room, duct taped it up on the wall. I think I might have had it. I might not have even had the banner at that time, but I think it was in there. I was like, shit, I got this. I have a little like $200 vlog camera, and I'm like, shit, like I don't have nowhere to put this thing. I didn't think about a tripod. This is the first time ever doing anything. I grab the garbage can that's down there and flip it upside down, put it on a table, set my camera on top of the garbage can, and no microphone, nothing. Camera audio, like kind of how we are now if it was a garbage can, and, you know, obviously not in a studio. And it was fun. I edited it. I had a great time. I was excited. Like, and I did like 2 interviews like that, the exact way on the garbage can before I bought a tripod.
The funniest shit is that when I put it on the game board, I also got like paper clips or like toothpicks, and like I just put it so I could get the sound
to make sure on the bottom.
Just because I was like, maybe I won't get all the full sound if I have it flat on the board, so I was putting like toothpicks so it just has a little opening.
That's funny. See, like, I guess the point I'm trying to make there is you think you need so many things.
No,
you don't.
You don't.
Waterwave started with a $200 cheap camera and I shot a music video with that camera too to begin Waterwave, but also on top of a camera on top of a garbage can, hit record and ask questions. That's how Waterwave started.
Yeah.
And now we're where we're at today, you know, almost 6 years later, 5.5 or whatever was that.
It's more the content.
Yeah.
It's more the content. And I think that's a lot of times where people get it confused, or like, I don't have a Sony. I don't have a Sony yet. But it's about just starting. And as much as it's uncomfortable, just be comfortable with it and get used to like just putting yourself out there. If this is something that you dream of doing, just prepare yourself more. You shouldn't
be coming up with a million excuses on why you can't do it. You just got to do it.
Yeah, just do it. Work with it. So many times, I mean, we hear about like Travis Scott recording in a hotel room or something like that when they're first coming up. Like I mean, think about 21 Savage when he dropped with his shit with like X Bitch and all that shit. Like the story about that was crazy. Metro Boomin was losing his mind about how raw the sound was. But I mean, you go back to it now and you're just like, oh, that's a fucking classic. Like that's a hit, you know. But I think sometimes that's also the story. The story also takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And nowadays, the DJ Low show had evolved a lot of different ways. Moved it to the Waterwave YouTube channel, started streaming on there. Had a good time doing that. We took it in person at the Jug House, did like 4 episodes there. And now you got your music industry nights where you feature the DJ Low show, which I think is like the perfect combo.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, the DJ Low show, you said, is quick and simple. And trying to sell tickets to something that the main premise of it is only 15, maybe 30 minutes if you're doing 2 episodes in one night, it could be a little hard. But now you just say, oh, that's like the opening act to the industry night where you have guest speakers and networking and vendors and everything. But yes, I was curious, speak on like industry or music industry nights. Yeah. I got to be a guest on one with Mike Campbell.
Yeah.
But from your perception, what is your goal with the music industry nights?
Yeah, appreciate it. Big shout out to you guys for being a part of it. The second one that we had with Mike Campbell, shout out to Stop House Music, shout out to Mike. The whole premise is like I said, I've been in this game for 11 years professionally, and in those 11 years I've met numerous amount of people, managers, A&R, a lot of photographers and videographers. Shout out to y'all are great. A lot of artists. And what I want to be able to highlight, and when I lived out in California for 2 years, in 2018 to 2020, was they would have these artist panels, music industry panel nights, where they'd have managers of big name artists or had thousands of followers. And just, it was a night to network, eat Domino's pizza, and then learn something from these managers, you know, or from anybody in the music industry. And then I'm like talking with my girlfriend, and I'm like, well, like that's not really happening here, you know. And then I'm talking to other artists. I'm like, have you ever seen a night in Minnesota where they're just talking about the music industry and we're explaining how one could better themselves and getting education? And so often we see, unfortunately, artists that have great projects and albums and EPs and even songs, but they'll rush it out with putting it out there. Oh man, it took me, these last 5 days, I've been working on this to drop it on Friday. As much as of a following and how many people we still have, you still should go about it in a delicate process of releasing your work. I think of Lucian Parker lately. Lucian Parker and his team have been working hard on his rollout. And their rollout, they just do little slides, little clip-its and this and that. And you're just showing a small picture of the big mural that's going to be happening. And with these music industry nights, man, I just want to really go ahead and help be a source, because I feel like I'm very resourceful, to have people be a part of this event where we can go ahead and all learn from each other. On top of it, network. I don't believe people have been networking to the point that they need to be networking in a face-to-face person since COVID. COVID has completely changed the game for the music industry world. It's not what it was. When I was doing shows for First Avenue before COVID, I'm putting up flyers and posters. I'm going out to shows, handing out flyers to people at shows that might want to go to be at one of our dance parties. It's different. A lot of people more online presence. Nothing wrong with that, but it's also, I think there's a whole nother level where you can go ahead and meet and talk with somebody face to face and share your experiences, what you've done, what you do, what you want to do. And that's what we're creating with these music industry nights. We really want to push and highlight the music industry of Minnesota. People from North Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, if y'all wanted to come travel out over here, come. Feel free, tap in. But I just really want to push the music scene because there is so much amazing music here. I just feel that a lot of the times it gets not seen because we're not going about it in the right way, or that we don't know what is the right way, right? Or, what resources we could be tapping into. I feel like, and I could be completely wrong, and you can highlight on a little bit of this, but I feel like a lot of times people come to you guys thinking if Waterwave TV goes ahead and drops my song or music video or whatever, like then I'll be noticed and like I'll be getting all these bookings and I'll be this and that. But that's not the case. Is that sometimes you guys run into those scenarios?
Yeah, I think a lot of people... they assume that the cosign of Waterwave is just gonna do something extra to them, and I'd say if you consistently are being posted on any page like us, then you will be, and that's why there's big pages let's say Cheeses and the Academics and the Rap Hip Hop TV pages, all this and all that. That you see people consistently on there in the mainstream world, and they're getting fans because they have a budget and they can pay for all that big major push. But I think that there's just a weird thing that everyone feels entitled to being posted on a page like us, or the Live on Lake Streets, MN stand-ups, and whoever else is doing it in whatever city you're from.
Right.
Because we'll still get messages and people in person being like, why haven't you interviewed me yet, or why haven't you posted my music? And it's I hate even saying this, but it's I don't owe you anything.
Right? No.
I owe the community something for sure, because the community shows love to us, and I make sure to show love back to the community as I see fit. But for you, someone I've never met, never talked to in person, most likely, don't even know your name. The first time you're talking to me is, why haven't you done this for me? That's where it gets a little annoying to me, and I just can't. And I just been learning to just X those people out until they figure it out. And I even said it at your industry night. I said, don't do that type of stuff. And then the next day later, someone said something why haven't I got an interview yet? Right. I've never met you. I don't know your name. I don't know what you do. and you're demanding an interview out of me, and it's like I haven't even I've done like 10 interviews in the past like 3-4 months. What makes you so special that over all the other 50 million people in this area that I could interview? Like I don't know.
When I was coming up, there was the Nomad that would have 2-for-1s. In college days, like that was a huge clutch. And that was a hangout spot for so many different artists in the Southside Minneapolis scene. Plus, we're also able to blow tree back there too, so that was fun. But it's the whole thing is about being seen in the scene. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so much that you can do. Online presence. Like, shout out to the people that have an online presence and do great and make money off of that. Fuck the numbers. Fuck the followers. Like, I'm grateful for all my followers.
I'd rather make 10,000 a month than have 10,000 followers a month.
Yeah, like, I don't want the fame. I want to be able to pay my bills. I have debt that I have to pay off. Like, I can't wait for that one check that'll pay off all the debt. Like, I'm not in it for the fame. That's why I do the DJ Low show. Like, I tell the artists, I'm like, yo, go ahead and tell them, like, how you make the best omelet. Like, promote whatever you need to promote, whatever you feel today. And that's how I feel. Like, and when I've done my parents' basement, my dance parties, I want to just highlight the people that I have a part of it. The music scene, I'm passionate about the music scene. That's why I love being in a partnership with you guys, because you guys have been enriched and involved in the community in more than different ways. And the music industry night is another way that I can give back to the community. This next one we have January 8th is going to be with Sophia Aris and Chris Pham. Chris Pham is an entertainment lawyer, also partial owner of the Exchange. Sophia Aris has been an amazing DJ for many years. Also was on the radio, Go 95, and then also Lizzo's DJ, and all the experience that she has learned on touring. And like, I want to go on tour. I've never been on tour. If anybody want to book me for a tour, let's go. But there's also ways, like Mike was talking. Mike highlighted a little bit from Sop House about touring and what it does. Obi Original spoke about touring with Alicia Keys and Libanka and Libianca. Man, second time.
You've been really good with the names today, though. Usually you're the one to be butchering the names.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Libianca. My bad. But it's beautiful. Like, I want to be able to show us, like, more people from Minnesota should be going on tours. Could be going on tours. Will be going on tours. But let's have the right education on what we need to be doing that.
Yeah. Definitely. One last topic I want to touch on before we get out of here is the Minnesota cannabis legalization.
Yeah.
You've definitely been on the forefront of, DJing at these events, promoting where you can go and learn more. And I know we've done a lot of the Canna Connect events together, so I know you're just in the space. But from your perspective, I guess, how do you view this new law, like, in a positive way for Minnesota? Because I know from being weed smokers for the past, for myself, 5-6 years or whatever, and however long you've been smoking, and 90% of this world feel like smokes nowadays. I think it's only going to be a good thing. Yeah. But how are you perceiving it? Are you excited about it? I know it's brought new opportunities for you to DJ weed events and whatnot. But yeah, what's your take on Minnesota cannabis legalization?
Mom and pops, it's legal. I want to be the cannabis DJ of Minnesota. I'm forever grateful that Buddy, the legislation Buddy had signed off. What was it, last summer, on that the edibles would be okay, and then that opened it up more so that it's legal here on the smoking sense. Shout out to everybody that's been in the cannabis scene, rocking it. Frosted Lakes has been a number one that I've been helping out with, and they've been super supportive as well. That's been a beautiful partnership as well. I got an event with them tomorrow, December 15th. No, 16th. But like Frosted Lakes, definitely getting tapped into with them. It's beautiful because in California, I was a part of that as well. The underground cannabis scene as well. You know, shout out to my boy Daryl. Rest in peace. Long live him. You know, I was out there visiting out in Compton, and my boy lived right down the street from the big donut hole that's like famous. And we went down to the shop, and there's this event going on, and I ended up DJing. I brought my controller, thankfully. Always bring your controller with you. And I DJ'd this event, and they had all these vendors, tables of weeds and all this stuff. And that's what's happening over here in Minnesota. And it's beautiful seeing that, you know, people are trying, you know. Crooked is great. I love Crooked and what they're doing. It's also Kite Soda. I love Kite Soda. There's drinks now that taste like a Barks root beer, and then they're telling me, they're like, oh, add some ice cream to it and make a root beer float that has THC. Like, what? Like, the amount of people that are coming up in the cannabis industry, shout out to Daba as well, Grounded Gardens, Natrium. So many beautiful people are coming into this, and I'm just grateful to be a part of this whole renaissance, because these next 3 years, I don't think a dispensary is going to pop up like what Cali has. Like, we're not going to have a Cookies for like 4 years.
I hope it stays very local right away, because there's enough product out here already.
Yes.
There's no reason to bring in like a Cookies.
Yeah, I mean, no reason, but I mean, shout out to Burner. You can come out over here. But let's get the local scene popping, specifically the BIPOC, the LGBTQ plus community being the forefront of the owners, because we don't want it to be like Chicago, where it's all these white businessmen that are the people that are at the forefront. The cool thing is people like our House Representative Maria Issa and others are making. Like, we're going to be able to make it that people, I believe what I've been hearing is that a lot of people that even got incarcerated for cannabis will be some of the people at the forefront to be buying and ownership.
Yep, to get like the dispensary license first, right?
Yes.
Yep. It's people that had weed charges or like felonies or something like that, and then it goes into pre-established business owners that are like a certain, you know, majority black owned or whatever. And I remember being told, that was a while ago. Well, it's been a while since now that all this news has been kind of announced.
Right.
At least in the media world, it's been a while this year, but media moves week by week nowadays.
Right.
But yeah, no, when I heard that, I was like, that's a good idea. And especially like, and then like, I think step 3 is like businesses that are established already.
Yes.
Not like, you know, after the fact of like who's gotten felonies for weed and who's been in trouble for weed and whatever. And then now it's established business. So like, there's all these businesses, like even ourselves, like Waterwave, like where we would fall into that category of like, we're an established business, like we can potentially get one of those first potential licenses like for a dispensary. And you know, like that's always obviously been like a goal for us to do something with weed too, because we know how much money's in that. In the music industry, it's very prominent that a lot of people smoke, so
it's right here.
There's no reason to not, you know, step into that field. But yeah, I think Minnesota's handling it correctly. Even though it feels like it's taken a while, it still doesn't change the fact that I can still go outside and smoke and it's legal. Like, it's just the fact that we can't open up a dispensary yet, and that's fine by me, because it's all going to happen at the same time. Everyone's going to have the same shot that they would have if it happened right now or if it happened 2 years from now. So just get your time to prepare, be ready for it.
What I'm really happy is shout out to all the reservations that are going ahead and getting it early. Like, man, it's beautiful seeing that they're getting it, because as they should. I don't think, like I said, I don't think we'll be seeing any places in the next 2. But like we have places like Grounded Gardens, Natrium, where you can go ahead and get drinks or some edibles, which is like what?
Delta 9 stuff or CBD.
All they have all of it. Tell them I sent you, and they're great people. But yeah, man, it's going to be really beautiful to see how the cannabis is going to be really helpful for our city. It's going to be more income that's going to be helping out.
Gives people another reason to be like, oh yeah, I'll vacation there for a week.
Yeah.
I can buy weed. Yeah.
Dude.
That's a big thing. You think about like,
artists.
When I'm going to like a new state, I'm like, is weed legal there? Like it's just at least one thing that pops in my head. And it's not like it's going to make or break it, but it might be like, make me more excited to go there, because now it's one less thing I have to worry about traveling with weed around there or something.
Well, Miami, you can't, but you can.
That's kind of how it's been in Minnesota the past few years anyways.
Shout out my boy Miami Mozzie down there. If you ever go to Miami, the plug. I was there at the club, and everybody was rolling up in the club, and I was like, shit. I didn't know. I thought this was Florida.
Man, it was good catching up with you.
Appreciate y'all. Waterway for life.
The future 2024 is going to be big for everyone.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Shout out if anybody's trying to get in the dispensary world, just remember experience. Like everybody's going to have a dispensary, but what's going to set yours from everybody else's?
Yep. The experience that you have and the experience you can provide.
Yep. Tap in with the music industry nights as well. To those still listening in, we're doing them monthly. It's all on my Instagram. My girlfriend Mariah has been making the flyers. We also do wedding industry nights, so that's a beautiful thing. So many people cross over from the wedding and the music industry world. So definitely tap in, network, get to know somebody, follow Waterwave TV. Man, tap on in. 2024 is Minnesota's year.
There you go. He said most of it, but as you all know, come shop with us at 1521 Como Avenue, Southeast Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can get your Jordans, your shoes, your vintage, all that cool stuff, man. Come check us out. We got a recording studio as well. Subscribe, like, share, tell all your friends about us. Waterwave TV, DJ Low.
Hit that.
That's it.
Spit that hot fire.
I'm out of here. Peace.
Bless.